All right, y'all, welcome to the Come at Arms channel. Okay, so hopefully you guys were able to appreciate the Stargate SG-1 intro there. If you guys know, Stargate SG-1, easily one of my favorite shows out there. And it's just it's a pretty easy thing to cosplay, especially like having like a P90 and already having like a flight suit and stuff. Kind of showing too much chest hair there, but no, I've been trying to check out this video for a while, but I wanted to wait for the Halloween reacts. Just, I don't know, maybe the attention grabber of having like the SG-1 intro would help a little bit. But this video kind of speaks for itself. It is very cool. This one is actually from Mighty Finland. We've checked out the channel plenty of times. You guys know I was on the podcast, and yeah, really, really cool guys. And I'm really loving seeing the kind of content that they're getting us, because taking like a podcast setting and then just taking it that step further and actually embedding with units and kind of getting all that coverage is really awesome. But this one is them embedding with some US Special Forces in Europe. So this one is titled Unconventional, which is really kind of cool name, and it kind of says it all when you're talking about special forces, that kind of unconventional warfare. But this is talking about the Green Berets of 20th Special Forces Group. Now, I don't want to watch the entire video. I mean, it's about 37 minutes long, which is like, okay, if we kind of watch it all the way through, but I'm only going to watch probably about the first half, and then I'm going to put the original video in the description so you guys can go check it out on the channel, because they clearly put a lot of work into this. So I want to kind of send some of that their way, since I'm kind of like riding off of their curtails here. But I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. Let's get into it.
Great power struggle, peer-to-peer conflicts,
I got the Moomin Cup
and trench warfare.
just for them, coming from Finland.
The state of the world is once again in turmoil.
As the future of warfare is getting harder to predict, militaries around the world have to shift their thinking again. But
Nice rifle.
as our wars today seem to be turning conventional, Green Berets are still going unconventional.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a role and a mission for them. Special forces in general, but definitely Green Berets too. Really like the enablers, but also very much the opposite for the adversary. Dude. Kilo casting has got to be one of the coolest things to see. I wonder if they were able to jump in with them too. That's so sick. Oh my god, okay. There's something just so cool about them, like using, I mean, you got air, land, and sea coming into play, obviously, when you talk about the Green Berets Special Forces, but kind of like seeing an intro here where you have them using the air, jumping into the water, getting on the ship, and then you can see them preparing themselves for actually kind of moving onto land. And this is really cool to kind of like see them actually kind of, I don't know if the weapons were on board. I guess I didn't really see when they were actually jumping out, but to kind of see everything that was like pre-positioned for them, like the amount of effort going into these guys to support their operations. But it's cool to kind of see it locked and loaded. Makes it that much more hype. Except when you see the blank firing adapters, but that's all right. Ooh, very spooky. I'm not familiar.
What you just saw was a helocast
I'm not
into
sure if
the
I'm
Baltic
familiar with
Sea
that
by
exercise.
operators of the 28th Special Forces Group.
They are a reserve component for the United States Army National Guard, taskable by 1st Special Forces Command.
They train and fulfill the same mission set as active duty units, only in a reserve capacity, much like our own Finnish units.
This is Mighty Finland. Join us as we embed with an ODA for the duration of Swift Response 25.
Let's ask the team leader himself what he expects from this exercise.
Hell yeah, where are they? Fucking actual log cabin.
So you'll disperse those guys. Ready to live? Live. So the scenario here is that NATO member country or countries has been occupied by a foreign invader, and this is a good opportunity to hone the skills
Dude,
that
like,
NATO
sounds
has in
familiar for
alliances,
whatever
develop
reason.
things like joint forcible entry and the conditions that are required to shape that and make that successful to regain the territory. In this exercise, we're working to build the conditions and set the battlefield up to enable a joint forcible entry, in this case an airborne one, to retake that territory and practice what, you know, Article 5 support would actually look like in real time.
Hell yeah,
We always
dude.
expect top performance from the team. We always look.
So it's like, hey, NATO was called up, and we're basically setting the stage for everybody to come to play. So it's kind of cool. Like when you're talking about like the infantry, when I was in the infantry, we'd always talk about like, you know, this is our playground. Like, what's our next playground going to be? And as you kind of hear the Green Berets talking about it right now, they're basically constructing that playground, so to speak, for more players to kind of come to the game.
To challenge ourselves.
Really
and put
important.
ourselves in
Cool
situations where
job.
We are uncomfortable because the environment that we train for is not going to be a comfortable one. So in this
Nice
scenario,
gloves.
particularly, really looking to hone some of the irregular skills that every special forces team needs to be good at, to include small unit tactics, basic development of networks, and building rapport and capability with our partner force. It's not often that we get an opportunity to come in a scenario like this and work with our European allies in a unique environment. So that's something that we're really spending a lot of time and trying to immerse ourselves in, so we can get
Hell
better
yeah.
and employ this skill in real time if we need to.
I think one of the main things is,
And they get
with the
to
SF
live in a
guys,
log
working with
cabin.
the local partner force, is integrating different SOPs. They're all standardized pretty much, but you still got to make sure everybody's on the same page. That's what's happening here.
Nice.
So,
Oh, that's cool.
as of tomorrow, based off the intelligence we have, it's about time that we put some effects on the enemy. This is a pretty
Even, like,
good
little
target
rehearsals
right
for the
now,
smaller
because we
actions
understand
on.
The enemy is a pretty complacent state of security. So we think, given the capability of you guys, given our current strength, together we're able to action this target in the next 24 hours.
Once we have the assault force at LOA, I'm going to reposition the vehicles. Machine gun team 1.
And so I'll try and break down as much of these acronyms as I can, but LOA is your limit of advance. So you basically have your last covered and concealed position before the objective. As you move on to the objective and assault through past the objective, you have your LOA, your limit of advance. Basically, everybody gets online, consolidates. From here, you can kind of, you know, spread load ammo. You start pulling security, get ready for any sort of counterattack. Yeah, it's basically everybody getting online after pushing through and kind of past the objective a little bit.
Three people pulling security to the east, and our second machine gun is going to be pulling security to the south.
Once we come back down, we'll set the charges. We'll get the ring main set up, and then we'll be on standby until you're ready to begin the retrograde.
So keep in mind, gentlemen, like,
Such a cool
this
shot.
is a target we need to do clean, we need to do well, because this is going to be the easiest one we get, right? They don't really know we're here, they don't know we're competent. So let's execute well and violently enough that they don't get any radio calls out before, you know, they're all laying face down in the dirt, right? Because this is only going to increase their security posture more, and we can mitigate that by speed and violence on this objective. Hence why we're going to fire a mini out of a back
Yeah,
van,
the
right?
CQB principles,
It's that road right here.
the
They're going to start
M&Ms.
firing. Again, their left limit is this berm. This is the mine wired obstacle, west side of the objective, and our support by fire is going to be to the south, firing north.
Carrying fire.
Nice. Okay, so support by fire is basically as you have maneuver elements. So let's say, actually, this is perfect right here. So here we have our maneuver element. So these guys are going to be kind of pushing onto the objective, which is here. And then as they're pushing onto the objective here, you have a machine gun that's like all the way over here, like on usually like higher elevation, suppressing that. So they're suppressing the objective. These guys get to move on, and the machine gunners can either displace, kind of bound up next to them, generally next to them, and keep suppressing that, or they can just gradually start pushing their fire towards the outskirts of the objective. So these guys can get onto the objective without actually getting shot up by their own support by fire.
There's just tourniquets. We're not stopping to help you. And once we actually get to the LCC and then we bound back, we'll probably do some adjustments.
Last covered and
with,
concealed position.
SSC.
Hey, boss man, do we need
LCC.
night vision?
Yes. We were bringing night vision.
Yep. You never know. Remember Mogadishu?
Don't get me started on Mogadishu.
We're not going to be out that long.
That's what they say.
Well, but
The talks. Interesting. I'm not too familiar with 20th Special Forces Group. I have talked to a lot of guys at 19 Special Forces Group when I was in Washington. Pretty cool dudes. all very mature, very much competent. So did rocking a G36.
All right. So in order to keep up with these guys, we need to have our own gear in check.
That's when we turn to our trusted sponsors.
Savox for the Pro,
Savata for the backpacks.
and Varusteleka for the clothes.
Hell yeah.
All right, we're Oscar Mike.
So
Yep.
Fucking Varusteleka. Good stuff. Good people, for sure. More than anything. I actually did my first ever meet and greet there. I still remember when I did that. There was this one dude who was, I mean, everybody was like so much taller than me, but this one dude was just massive. The Viking blood, jeez. I knew I was in Viking territory. Okay, so I take this as the support by fire. Damn, these guys are just sending it, huh? Yeah, they're really using that balance of action. Okay, get ready to fire. Can't go too crazy because if that support by fire dumps all of his ammo, has to reload. Sucks for these guys. Oh, dude, that rifle is sick. Good communication too. Oh my god, that really brings back the infantry days of just doing the rehearsals over and over again, like on the objective, and then kind of pushing past the objective and hitting that LOA, and everybody saying LOA, and then everybody kind of stops, and you start getting your ACE reports and whatnot, your ammo, your casualties, your equipment, all that stuff. Well, let's see how they take it. So they hit their LOA, and as opposed to like infantry where you kind of hold the position, you get ready for a counterattack. It's like these guys taking it a little differently. Oh my gosh. That's sick. Oh my, they had so much stuff with them. But you can see their gear looks so like clean, so polished.
5 minutes. Wow.
Very like low drag, very tight. Nothing's falling off, nothing's moving around more than it needs to.
All right.
Dude,
Nice.
first raid down.
Yeah,
That was interesting.
That was definitely interesting. I mean, always going to be some friction, I think, when this was the first time the
Yeah,
ODA
like
was working together with the partner force. But all in all, I think things went as
where
well
was the
as
friction
one
at? I
could
wanna see
expect,
that.
And know what they're going to say in the AAR and what their conclusions about this raid were.
And your AER is your after action review, which is basically like everybody coming together. What did we do right? What could we do better? What should we do the same kind of thing? So it's pretty helpful, I would say, in kind of anything you do to do an AER after. It really helps when it comes to like lessons learned. If you're going to be doing this kind of tactic again, you can kind of adjust it. Or if you're doing it for like an exercise, you know kind of what to do, what to look forward to, kind of plan a little bit more in advance so you don't have like a giant clusterfuck again. It's very helpful for stuff like that.
But
Yeah. I really like the use of firepower here. That was
yeah.
that was dope. Always want to see that. And yeah, just
Definitely
going to ramp
dope.
up from here, and
That's a good word.
I'm excited to see what that
They
looks
definitely
like.
are. They definitely are. Yeah.
Okay, AR for IADs.
That house is beautiful. I can't get
To
over
give
it.
you guys kind of a frame of reference on how we typically do these things for our lovely brothers in arms. Typically, we go by phase. So planning, movement, execution, exfiltration is how we'll structure it. It's just how we've always done things. Brutal honesty, trying to get better from it, trying to grow from it. So call yourself out, call your friends out. There's no hurt feelings here, right? We're all just trying
Nice.
to get better at killing people.
Damn, their AAR sounds so much
the
more
game plan.
mature and
Pretty
productive.
hasty planning process. We kind of planned it at more of an ODA level just because of how fast it needed to be and how we had to get eyes on target. But we had some good feedback from you guys to
Dude's
get
got all the
there.
camouflage.
I was confused on the TOT time. I thought we were running out of time, so I was definitely booking it.
So
So
TOT,
originally
time
we
on
were
target.
working off a 2000 time on target timeline, because of the change in plans, ORP, how'd that go?
Objective rally point.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah, we played that lax for sure.
We'll clean
So
that
your
up
rally
for
point right before the
next
objective.
round.
Again, we planned on, hey, we're gonna stick to the left side of the road and stack trees. But then when we got out there and we saw how open it was, we were both like, hey man, we're gonna just cross this LDA. We control the LDA to a certain point because you guys
Linear
remember-
danger area.
As you guys remember, the original plan was to
Like a
kind of
road or
use
something.
psychology strategy of sensory overload to attack from different avenues. And again, the info you guys told us with a little bit of experience from
Oh, I like
me
hearing the
getting a vehicle
psychology.
stuck, driving in those roads or on like moon sand roads, it's just a recipe to fucking deadline your assault force.
We'll continue
The
to
moon
do
sand
that.
roads.
We'll make sure that we're implementing a couple rounds of rehearsals after the planning phase. I think it pays dividends on the back end, and it's definitely noticeable on objective.
Yeah.
You know, dude, I think
Yeah,
it's
true that.
really interesting that 20
Rehearsals
group is a
will
reserve
make
unit,
it.
you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, coming from a nation of 5.5 million inhabitants, of which roughly 900,000 are reservists, I always find it super interesting.
That's
when dealing with
crazy.
Reservist stuff
That's so cool.
in general, and just being able to slap on an SF component top of that all, it's just like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gotta
exactly.
be so
Like,
tricky.
they don't have as much time to train probably as active duty units, but they remain that really high level of professionalism and operability. You know, I think
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
really cool to see.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
a
think,
tough dynamic.
you know, we've seen
to
that in
work.
Finland. If you have a well-trained reserve force, then it's a real force multiplier when they bring in stuff from their civilian life and a different kind of thinking, but they're also
True that.
really well-trained soldiers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, I'll talk a lot of smack about like reserve and National Guard every now and again, in jest for the most part. But like, it is really impressive to kind of see how well-rounded they are coming from like their civilian jobs, coming to the Army, or, you know, being activated, or just being on active duty orders, or just working with them. It's like, it's pretty impressive. It's kind of refreshing because it's like, if you're around active duty people so much, everybody kind of gets like this weird brainwashed kind of way of speaking and acting and even looking. So it's kind of refreshing to you know, not see that as much. Sometimes it can be a little bit more problematic, but it's definitely refreshing.
I think like now in this scenario, the Green Berets, they are master trainers, and they are here to train up the local force, or like the partner force.
Yeah.
So I think these guys who are also reservists are able to just like draw from own experiences in a completely different manner than maybe somebody who is career military. For
Really,
example.
really good point.
So I think it adds a lot of value to
Oh
the
yeah,
whole experience.
I think
Yeah, no
in
doubt.
this
It's
scenario,
like,
know that
you guys aren't
they-
used to
they
this.
probably put themselves in.
We can kind
in
of talk
the
how you can
local
switch your
partner force
mindset.
shoes a bit more.
Definitely.
In the way they kind of have to move between two worlds, you know, the military and the civilian side. So I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
adds
yeah.
value. Like you said.
Adds perspective.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
definitely. All right,
Yeah,
let's talk work-life
good point.
balance. You're a National Guard SF guy. You have a family. You have a day job. What does it take to manage all three?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because being in the National Guard, but in group, you have a non-traditional Guard schedule. So even though it's part-time, it's really more of a full-time job. It requires a lot of commitment. I travel a lot for my civilian job, so I'm not often home. With my family, they're always wondering where I am, and
Damn.
I'm not going to 1 week in a month for drill. I'm gone for weeks and weeks at a time. On top of that, being a medic,
That's got to be tough.
you don't get all of the up-to-date training. You go to a couple different trainings, maybe once every other year. So I also work as a paramedic at a local trauma center to keep my skills sharp. So we're always working,
Nice,
always
dude,
trying
that's
to get better.
awesome.
But it just comes back to you're juggling a lot of balls, and you just have to have the planning to see which ball can I drop and which one is the priority right now. Being in the National Guard has
well
some
said.
other form of life outside of this. So most people have a civilian job, most people have families, and figuring out how to balance that, there's no right answer. Everyone has to do it differently according to their lives.
Yeah.
Just wanted to go
True
over
that.
basic
And people
intel
will do
brief
it
for
differently,
The
I
next
mean,
operation that we're planning. I'll
it's
preface
tough.
this with it's pretty light. We're gonna have to make a lot of assumptions based off what we know on the enemy, but we know at least enough to plan what will likely be an ambush operation. Our auxiliary and underground networks that you all have established and we've been building up, we were fed intelligence that enemy general is coming to, one, look at the damage that we cause as well as
Oh yeah, that's a terrible idea.
micromanaging ground and anti-air fires so that they can regain their defensive position in the area, right?
It's like
4
showing up to the
vehicles with
scene of
11
the
people,
crime.
including the HVI, we're looking at potentially 12 packs on the objective. He's also been known
HVI,
to
high
include
value
a small
individual? I don't know about the eye.
forward reconnaissance element, so we will need to consider drone contingencies when we're planning this operation.
Eisenhower famously saying, plans are worthless, but planning is everything. It's very apparent every time we do one of these large-scale operations.
That's
Even
funny.
though we try our best to get a 100% solid plan leading into an operation, just sometimes things fall through. You have to be prepared to be flexible and adjust
Like
on
the
the
terrain
fly.
model.
And then at the same time, like we might get a new mission. We may be thinking we're going to do one thing, and then it's like, okay, hey, actually this is more important. You guys need to flex to this. You have like 24 hours. Get it done. You can't really
Dude's
go
got
to your
some
command
jacked
and be
legs.
like, we can't do that. Like, you're never going to say that. What you're going to do is you're going to make it happen. That's why Eisenhower's quote is very near and dear to me, and I try to pass it on to all the other team members. Sometimes you do just get handed with a shitty situation, but you make it happen.
He's
So
just a
planning
shit
is
sandwich.
important. It's like the cornerstone of what we do. I think what anyone like tactically does.
Coming from different backgrounds, you have
Yeah,
big
well said.
personalities, a lot of different experiences. Does that form into some sort of
Again, I gotta say, like, you'll be around some people. I mean, special forces, of course, but I guess mostly it's easiest to tell with officers or like senior non-commissioned officers, where they've just been around for a while and they just have this way of speaking, and it's just like buzzword after buzzword, and it's like, are we actually like saying anything here of context? Or are we just spitting like? I mean, it's cool to know and kind of be familiar and regurgitate doctrinal terms, but like you kind of, there's something that's lost in that communication, a little bit of like sincerity and humility sometimes. So it's kind of, it's nice to hear their speak. I mean, it's just so like down to earth and chill and human, which you'll see a little bit more when it comes to special forces, what I've noticed, or even like Rangers.
team culture?
I think it allows us to leverage those skill sets the guys bring from the civilian world. I mean, we're not active full-time, so we're bringing a lot of outside experience in terms of the personalities. Yes, we're all very different. I think the plus side of it is the guys that do have those kind of big personalities are kind of like some of the quieter guys. Like, we mesh together well and can still come together. We don't really get in fights or arguments a whole lot. Like, got a lot of friends on other teams, and it doesn't work like that for them. Like, teams fall apart when sometimes you have those clashing personalities, but
Yeah,
I don't
true
see it on this
that.
team. Like, it's kind of almost like a family.
What do you think creates
That's
that
dope.
on this team?
We respect the leaders and want to succeed and be successful, but also the leaders do a good job at listening to the other guys on the team and understanding that
Yeah,
there is
not like
experience. It's not
everyone's a chief.
I'm telling you to do this, you do it kind of thing. Like, it's open for discussion, it's open for consideration. Everybody wants to see each other succeed, and it's not this typical like hierarchical structure that you would see in the Army. A personal thing, I don't
Yeah.
want to fail, not just because of myself. I don't want to fail because I don't want to fail, the guys on the team.
I think you can notice it, especially in your AARs, that you're not afraid to bring up stuff and sort of go against each other, but it also like it diffuses quickly.
Yes, and that's what I kind of mean by like having the good leadership that's willing to listen. Yes, the AARs we're brutally honest. They tell us to do that right off the bat, but like when the AAR is over, it's done. Like, at no point in time have I ever said something that somebody disagreed with and then they held it against me later. It ends right there.
Nice,
To be brutally
yeah.
honest, it helps us build better
That's
as a team
huge.
too. There's gonna be no repercussions for speaking your mind to somebody if that's what you believe in.
Oh my
I
God,
heard-
I've been in so many AARs where I'm like, and I've said a lot during AARs, but there gets to a point where you're just around certain people, or you've been a part of the same kind of AAR several times, usually with the same people, but you're like, I know whatever I say is going to be immediately met with like another question, like, oh, like, why didn't you do better? Or, how can I blame you? How can I push this away from me? It shouldn't be this like competition of, who's right, who's wrong. How can I deflect blame? And it just gets so unproductive when that stuff happens. Or like sometimes you just say something and somebody like, okay, cool. I'm kind of in like autopilot at this point because like I'm just so fed up with everything. So they just write it down and then nothing actually changes in the future, which kind of sucks. So it's nice for these guys to be able to say like, we're actually getting some constructive feedback. We're being productive, and we're being honest and open, and it's not going to be held against each other.
The next target will be an ambush. What do you think we'll see there?
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. They got their own SOPs, we got our own, but I'm assuming, some sort of they'll block their movement, whatever they're ambushing, maybe like an L-shaped thing, get some crossfires going, then a shit ton of firepower, maybe some explosions.
Yep.
That's a doctrinal term.
Right. I mean, just quick and dirty, in and out, There's beauty in simplicity sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
True that. And also beauty in extreme violence of action. Nice belt. I wonder how many different countries we have working in this force. Oh, dude, that terrain looks real fun for an ambush. So oh my god, who was that? I thought I saw a law. There's an AT4.
It's hard to get good concealment.
Oh my god, they're gonna hit. Ambush infantry. Oh no, okay, it's not infantry. Oh, dude, I don't know. I'd want to start lighting that thing up, fix them in place, and then just smack them with an AT4. It'd be sick, dude.
I heard a bolt. Fucking re-engage.
Someone's still shooting back. Make him regret it.
Left side assault. Round forward. Moving. Let's go. Get him clear. Move.
Some double taps.
Let me know when you're good. Check the bed. Check the
SSC.
bed. Vehicle 2 clear.
So like they'll do their site exploitation, document exploitation, any sort of media they find. Like all that stuff. Oh damn. So aid and litter team, you'll have designated someone with a litter. They'll be the guys who, like, if there is a casualty, they'll be the ones designated.
Jackpot.
Which helps a lot. I gotta say that helps. It pays extreme dividends when you have an aid and litter team, because like you say aid and litter, those guys will push up. So you're not just having like a bunch of people, because once like one of your dudes is down, you're gonna want to like try and help them out. So you're basically not just downgrading all of the security, having everybody trying to like help your buddy out. You have everybody pulling security. They know their job, they know their role. You have the aid and leader team coming up, and they're the ones again who have like maybe a little bit more like medical supplies, and they'll have the litter. So they'll be the ones to kind of like break that out. They would have at this point probably practiced on and off, just deploying the litter, getting someone on it, moving them.
How long do you need?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. We need 3 minutes.
Yep. Let's roll in.
Good communication.
Where's that machine gun? We have a GSW to the lower abdominal region. Entrance, no exit. Choke point on me.
So, gunshot wounds to the stomach. Oh, fuck that. GSW. Honestly, I only really heard that in kind of like police or paramedics. Okay, and I think that is, yeah, so it's about the halfway. So I'm going to stop it there. Again, I will put the original video down in the description. Really, really cool video, as you guys can see, just like getting all of the background, getting all the planning, getting the AR, so cool. But they're also providing, I mean, these guys, Vila and Vila, I don't know how to say their names. I look at them and they're different, but they sound the same. So I don't, but these guys, they're smart and they're adding a lot of really good context and detail. And it's, of course, a lot of it is going to be from their own experience, but of course they've done podcasts and they've done their own research. and they just have a good kind of tactical military mind to be able to kind of like understand what is valuable and like what helps with certain things. Kind of like they were saying with being able to communicate a little bit better and kind of relate and be kind of understanding and empathetic as far as the swap from going from like a civilian mindset to this military mindset, and kind of how to do that and kind of just how to flatten that transition now. It's a really interesting point. It's not really something that a lot of people would think about, especially unless you have kind of like the military experience, but also kind of understanding in the kind of reserve capacity what that transition is like yourself, or as like a conscript, what that can be like. I mean, I gotta say, so it's been a little over 2 years since I went to Helsinki and met the dudes from Mighty Finland. Had a few drinks with them. Actually, I seem to recall it was like midnight or a little bit past midnight, and we were like leaving the bar, and it was like still sunny out because it was like summer in Finland. That was super trippy. And then I just got on the tram and got back to my hotel. I was like, damn, I feel like we can still go like a little bit more, but anyway, I digress. Yeah, so it's been a couple of years, but I mean, I gotta say, it's so cool to see the like development and growth and just how they've kind of transformed, just like the access that they've had and the knowledge and experiences from like doing the podcast to turning this into like a much bigger thing, having more of this coverage. We've seen them cover like even like the Estonian companies doing the ground drones in Ukraine, to kind of cover that and then embed yourself with US Special Forces in Europe. That is like such a cool like ability and way to kind of get the message out there, not just for like the alliance and kind of partnering and how everybody's kind of working together, but also just to get us to better understand, because you can kind of understand some things and learn some things through podcasts, but to be able to kind of see it happening real time, and for them to just be kind of like, and they're not just like flies on the wall. They are in some, aspects. Obviously, they're not going to start jumping into the AR and be like, yeah, that was trash. But it's kind of cool for them to kind of sit back and then regurgitate everything, talk about it after, and then kind of add their own context, which is actually like really, really valuable as like a Finnish conscript to be able to talk about like a reserve special forces unit, to be able to kind of add some value in what they're seeing and be able to kind of like translate that to us. Because I mean, I've only been active duty, and I've seen plenty of videos on like conscriptions, and I've seen and worked with many reserve or National Guard units, but it is kind of really interesting to get that perspective from someone who is a conscript, to be able to kind of like translate that for everybody else. And again, it's not something that I would be able to kind of talk about or relate to. So it's really cool to get that feedback from them. But I would really love to hear you guys' thoughts on this one, because it is really cool. And again, if you guys haven't seen the full video already, definitely do check out the full video in the description. Because yeah, it's really good stuff. Not just like kind of what we're seeing, very cool, but again, a lot of the context and stuff that they're talking about is really valuable in my opinion. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And of course, for the guys over at Mighty Finland, I appreciate y'all hosting me and letting me drink your NATO beer. That was right after Finland kind of joined NATO. It's really kind of cool timing there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the awesome kind of friendship, but also thank you for the awesome content. Because I mean, myself, my audience, the people of YouTube, we appreciate the very cool insights and content that you guys are pushing out. But hopefully all of y'all appreciated the video. Hopefully you guys appreciated my commentary. I know I paused a little bit too much, I think. I try not to do that, but hopefully you guys were able to appreciate it. That is it for this video. I'll be seeing y'all in the next one.